Okay, so now we're trying to determine how we can get this case apart. So you want to get that fancy Jim's tool. It goes over here.
I told you it was on that side.
Pushes the crank out. Only problem is that's not exactly made for pushing the case off. I guess technically it might work. But we do have a lot of Loctite issues and other issues that might say it's not going to quite fly very well.
So we're going to bust out the Harley tool?
So big hammer is what I like using.
That's right. What's the part number on that hammer?
Number 3 sludge.
Number 3 sledge, okay.
So you can also put some 3/8 bolts in these holes and beat on the bolts.
Oh, look at that. Nice little...
What?
Look at those nice little scratches in there.
You can beat on the end of the rod, but I don't think it'll help.
I don't want to do that.
So you put a nice 3/8 bolt in there, like when
Is the light out? Oh, no, it was on.
out now. Now it's
There
out.
we go.
So you can do that like that and beat on the bolt.
Perfect.
That helps. That works too. You got this machine surface right here you can pound the piss out of. It's less risk of breaking the case. Of course that case is an inch thick, so you probably ain't gonna break it anyway. So you gotta get something pretty massive to hit that with.
You got something massive?
The problem is that the case is gonna go take off on you when you do that.
We don't want that.
Well, you're gonna have to hold the case down somehow. Because when you hit that with a lot of force, what's gonna happen?
It's going to go flying.
It's gonna go that way.
That's not good.
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do.
That's right. Depends if there's a civilian over there.
Well, you know, somebody's around to hold it.
Sounds like a lawsuit.
A lawsuit. So we're gonna use a lighter hammer, not a big hammer. So I'm gonna use a light one.
Oh, the small guy.
Yeah. This is easy to swing. Then we gotta find this special tool that goes in that notch.
Mmm.
I'm thinking that's down here somewhere. This one's chrome plated, so it must be the right one.
Oh, that's a nice part.
Or you have the one I've used before.
What's the part number on that guy? Is that a Jim's tool?
Number 3 punch.
Number 3 punch with a number 3 sledge. I like that.
Dead blow.
Jesus. Well, she split.
Oh, I cracked it. Damn. You know, it's only got half a spin out of it?
That's right.
That's because it's a dead blow. Now we want to get this side to pop here. This bolt might be a little short. This might not be good for the bolt too.
So we're looking for half a spin of rotation.
So we got a little crack over here now. These have dowel pins in here, so.
Make her sing.
She's coming apart.
Jesus.
Oh, it damaged my shelf almost. Okay. So there's a proper amount of tools. There might be a safety hazard with tools on the floor now. Now, sometimes those don't like to come apart.
Well, remember, Tatro, this motor only has 2,000 miles on it.
Yeah, that means it should be really hard to come apart because that means it's fresh.
Fresh. Yeah, she's fresh.
Freshly screwed up.
Freshly destroyed.
I'm gonna get this out the rust away. Here's my screwdriver we have.
Oh, God, don't do that. Oh, I guess it's not close to the gasket surface.
Make sure you use light pressure and use the large flat part of the blade, not the point and beating it with a hammer. Unless you want to really screw it up. Oop.
Pop.
Did you hear that break?
I like that. Oh, that was smooth. Like butter.
Oh, it's got a Harley bearing over here instead of the regular bearing. What a shocker. That's because it's got a 5-piece crank on it. Ultima crank.
Hmm.
They don't make those wheels anymore.
Well, you see in the 2020 catalog, it showed 5-piece.
Yeah, that was 2020. It's also in this year's catalog too, but they don't have them.
Hmm.
They told me last year they were no longer available.
Yeah, I found one on eBay. The mug one at like $500.
That's cheap for a crank.
I know. Yeah.
Look at the amount of brown stuff they stuck in there. I wonder what that was.
Factory.
That looks pretty burnt for being low mileage, like you're saying.
It's only 2,000. Ooh, gyms. Did Ultima use gyms?
Back in the day, yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep, that's what they use. Good stuff. Now, do we want to check to make sure the pinion shaft's any good? Do we want to true it correctly?
Nah. Just it was pretty good. It was like less than a quarter
If
inch.
you want to do any one of those two, you got to pull the bearing off.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you put the thing way out here, which is not exactly spot, but it's close enough. Now, this is my vintage tool. I couldn't find this one, so I bought a new one.
Oh, Lang.
It's expensive.
Ling.
This is the real one here.
They look the same.
One's red, one's orange.
Well, other than that.
This one's probably KS tool. Oh, this is Blackhawk. Blackhawk. Slightly modified on the tip. This is a snap ring puller. I finally forget what these
Oh, I
things
like
were.
that, yeah.
Got a little dimple in there for pulling snap rings. So it's made in USA.
I got a Harbor Freight version of that that doesn't have the dimple.
It's probably the same quality.
No. It's way worse.
You know, it's got oil in here, so we got this drain.
So we got a tight rod on the front.
Oh, look, that fell off. Did you see that?
This one.
Did you see that fall off?
That's not good.
Fell right off. Now you look at the shaft and see if you got shaft in.
Oh, what the fuck is that? Oh, sorry.
Does that feel like it's vintage? So I'm thinking the fact that the shaft's all beaten up over here makes no difference anymore, because now there might be some issues with the shaft itself being bad. Kind of flaky, kind of like the customer.
Shucks. That's hurtful.
So that's bad. So that needs to be replaced. Now, is this a 5-piece? It appears to have a nut on the other side. That means we don't have to buy a crank now. We can just buy a crank, a shaft.
Yeah, where do we get one of those?
It's a 1/4 inch longer, Jim's shaft.
Okay.
So you got to decide how much money you want to spend.
Not much.
Well, the problem is that piece costs a lot, and this one's bad. That one here might be bad too. That one's expensive too.
How much?
And by the time you buy all that stuff, it's almost what a new crank would cost.
Oh my god.
The problem is you want to get this crank, you get the one that has the big wrist pins in it,
The better one.
which means you can get pistons now.
Yeah, the better crank.
Yeah, you can actually buy pistons now instead of having these small ones. So we're going to tear it apart and see how bad the rust it is, because if we get more broken parts, it's better just to buy a whole new crank and upgrade to new parts. But we have a problem. They don't use this bearing anymore. Don't look at that stuff. That doesn't mean anything.
Well, yeah, but what hit that?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, guys.
That's superficial. This is more critical.
Yeah.
This being a little tight
But
here
we already know
is
that.
not good either.
Well, we already know that.
It's not. It still has some clearance, but can we slide it? And we can slide it, so that's good. That means it's still usable. It wasn't so tight it didn't move. So that's a plus. But it's a good thing we took it apart, because that is bad. That might be where some of that metal's coming from. That's in your motor.
Flaking off.
Flaky metal. Yeah, heat treated stuff. Looks like a crank pin, but not. Okay, that takes a nut, a socket. Takes a big socket. Probably one about this big here. That wasn't that tight. That came off pretty easy. I'm shocked. Probably need that one for the next one. Okay, now we gotta get that thing off of there. So we need to hit it with something strong with a heavy ring to it. Shock that taper off. What's that sound like to you?
That sounds like a dead blow hammer.
That doesn't have the big ring effect.
Oh, that doesn't. There we go.
So you need a steel hammer, because it has a ring effect.
Jeez. She's ringing.
good. That's not worn too bad. That's a good sign. BP.
I was gonna make a joke on that, but
3392.
we're family friendly here.
I don't know what's that going to identify to. I'm not sure. Now that looks like a smaller diameter pin than this one here. That might be this size here. No, it's not even that big. That's pretty dinky. That's 3/16. 5/16. Oh, a quarter inch you don't want. Let's use a big socket.
I'm gonna be the camera person again.
Yeah, all you.
Okay, wait, let me put my stuff down.
Let's slam that door, doesn't laugh.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, we need a number 2. Well, make sure you hit this dead flat, otherwise it screws up the shaft.
Well, don't send it into my case. Okay.
Ooh.
Well, I held on to it.
No.
That way it didn't hit the other case.
How do I?
This is bad.
What?
Shaft.
Oh yeah.
The key is not bad. Reuse the key. So that part there is flaky.
I just learned how to zoom in and out on this thing, so.
Oh, I see your experience now.
Oh, I know. Yes, yes.
Okay, so now this is a usable crank. Looks like it has only been balanced once, which is good. That's been done 15 times already.
So now what you do with these is you throw a.
That'd be your videos, not mine.
Ew.
Do you remember that idea that I had with Preston?
No.
How to build a bike and what parts fit up my ass.
Nasty
Look at
little
this
man.
one. Is that flaky? Oh, perfect. Just touch it anyway.
They're on the workbench. So wipe the oil out, see if there's any flakiness in there.
Can I wash it in the bin?
No.
Okay, great.
Wash the oil out with your finger or whatever. I see no flakiness going on. We know it's not around though.
No flaky business here.
Let me look at our crank pin. See if it's flaky or not. It's definitely got more than 2,000 miles on it.
Wonderful. I think we figured that out a little bit ago.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Doesn't it have like 4,600 or something?
No.
Oh, just kidding.
I usually replace flywheel crank pins because they're usually the first thing to fail. Pinion shafts are not. But in your case,
I got lucky.
the pinion
Everything's
shaft,
bad.
the pinion shaft failed, it's still not the crank pin.
That's
So
so
the
sad.
crank pin hasn't failed yet. It's got a lot of wear on it, but it hasn't failed yet. So the reason the crank pin, the main failed, because the crank's out of true and they kept running it for a long time that way. So it put a lot of load on the bearing where it's not supposed to be loaded. Because most of the load on the bearing's on the inside and flaked on the outside.
Yeah.
That's because the crank is twisted or bent or whichever way it is. You got a socket for that big one?
Yeah, over there.
Over there? Over here.
That's where I pointed.
This only takes them out about half the time. That came out real easy.
Perfect.
That did not have Tatro torque on it.
No pound of Loctite on this one?
No, barely any Loctite on that thing. Normally it doesn't even come off. And that thing just fell off.
So that's the only good part of the motor. It was under torqued and coming apart easily.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
not good. Okay, now we get this other side off. Guess we're going to use
Number 2.
big one again.
Whoa.
Did it move?
That's so illegal.
See it move, did
There, it moved.
Did it move that time?
Yeah.
That time. Still don't want to come out though.
Well, because you got a stator on the other side, Tatro.
What's that got to do with anything?
I don't know, is the pin? Okay. Right, there you go. Oh, awesome.
Key.
That's right.
Like how I did that?
I like it.
I shocked it on the end of the shaft. Now this is not the big one, this is just the number 2. The 3's on the wall. So you got number 1 over here, 2 and number 3. Now we could be cheap and not take that off and just trust it. We can rebuild this correctly and retorque it.
Let's do it correctly, maybe.
Well, you want to do the more work, more expensive job.
Oh, Jesus.
You're doing the upgraded job now.
Oh, great.
This comes out more than a new motor. I'm just never going to come back here. I'll tell them I'll pay cash tomorrow. Just leave it here.
Put the tools away. Pretty good. 3-hitter.
There go the threads.
I don't know. Did I mishit it wrong? It's got a lot of miles on it, but it's still usable for a while. Maybe I'll get the motor on there. Got the same 2 holes on the other side, Ed. So they do put a number on these old flywheels, see? Must be their part number.
Oh, it's because the flash is on. It's not really showing.
Yeah,
There's a glare. Oh,
it's
there we
called
go.
blow it up. You can only go about halfway up to blow up, and then it's blurry.
I see.
Takes
There we go.
practice. Takes practice.
I know. From a real professional.